you are doing wonderful. I got some tiger's eye in here for you guys. So not a lion, but a tiger. And we got some beautiful Egyptian imagery in here. We're using the Tarot Nefertari and this animal oracle deck here. And we're just doing a reading for the full moon here in Virgo for Pisces. So let's see what's coming up for Leo. What spirit animal is guiding you right now for this full moon in Virgo? We did get a cat. Got the puma. Got the puma and you got the fox. I love this card for the fox. And foxes are kind of in that weird cattish category in a way. So I'm not going to say that's not totally some feline energy too, but it is a fox specifically. So with the puma that we have here, it's about power, desire, and healing. The puma, like the jaguar and the leopard, represent powerful magic. It also symbolizes an awakening of energies and desires that can lead to healing and fulfillment. Along with the other animals in the drawing, the puma is framed by a circle with 4 points, which forms a mandala, a mystic circular symbol that in Buddhist and Hindu traditions was used as an aid to meditation. The psychologist Carl G. Jung said that the mandala circumscribed a holy place, was a symbol of completeness with the inner psyche, and was a means towards greater self-awareness. He described the 4 points of the mandala to be like the crossed threads in the telescope of our understanding. And then we have the fox, which is cunning, sexuality, and creativity. Like the coyote, the fox is strongly associated with magic, supernatural power, and cunning. In the wild, it exists at the edges of field and forest, and in the mythical realm is a principal mediator between the human and spirit worlds. In Chinese folklore, the fox may assume a human shape at the age of 50, and at its 100th birthday, it becomes either a wizard or a lovely maiden. Red foxes are associated with sexual energy and the creative life force. Some Native American legends speak of a hunter discovering that his wife has a secret fox identity. Yeah, I just got this new deck. It's not in here today, but I do have it, and as soon as I learn it a little bit more, I'm going to feature it more. And it's a kitsune deck, and kitsune is a term, I don't even know if I say that right. I'm just assuming. A kitsune is a Japanese, very much like the Chinese one it was talking about. Kitsune is like a 9-tailed fox, where they get a new tail every 100 years, and then yeah, like 999 years on their 1000th birthday, or sometimes it's their 100th birthday, they get to become either a wise old man or a lovely young lady, a beautiful woman. And so there's definitely always that symbolism with it. But foxes are like one of my main spirit animals. When I started with Reiki, it was the first spirit animal that my Reiki master was telling me that I had a fox with me. So it's very much my own spirit animal very often. People can give it a bad rap, but foxes are really lovely, and definitely about that like clairvoyance and sight and sexual magic and like imagery. Hang on, these fell in my lap. I was gonna say like, and then with this puma here about power, and there's a lot of mystical energy here for sure in this Leo pile right here. 4 cards. All right, and then I was gonna say they might have flipped in my lap. I didn't see like if they changed their direction. And it just had me lay them out like that because it was doing like the Catholic thing where you go to like head, heart, shoulder, shoulder, like making the cross on yourself. You know, it's talking about the 4 points over here about circumscribing a holy place. I'm not gonna lie to you, Leo. This card right here fell out on the floor before I started your piles reading. It fell out over here beside my desk. So this one definitely wants to come out. This 9 of Wands. Let me just kind of sit with it for a second. For you guys, it was really pointing out this paw and pointing at this other, like the snake, and it was saying like this creature was like, you get down there, like that. This card for you guys, Leo, is coming out very different from how I usually catch any kind of Nine of Wands at all. But man, this fierce rabbit creature right here, I was gonna say it's got a long tail, almost like a cat too. That's what I mean. There's like some kind of anamorph creature stuff happening in here a little bit. I can already tell off of your reading, and it was just this thing was like getting onto this snake and like really like, you get down there is what it just said. Like it was like which is not very much in Nine of Wands energy. Nine of Wands is usually a little more chill than that, but it can be very defensive. It's very close to wrapping up a journey, so it could definitely have some bark to it because it's trying to, it's 9, right? And the 10 is the last one where we complete the suit, so it's like trying to wrap things up is kind of really the vibe. Like, you get down there, you go do this, and like, that's what this came through as. The Emperor. Sign of Aries. Who wants to say that? Like if that's a person in your life, I guess. Even though this card is upright, it is kind of bringing up the fact that the Emperor card can, in the wrong direction, be a very power-hungry, overbearing, almost abusive, mean-ass person. But lots and lots of strength in an Emperor card, too. And that's kind of what this is. It's showing me the fist today. It's like the ruling fist, right? Even though it's not holding anything, it's like, right? It's just talking about gestures. Like, there's hands like this. There's hands like this. There's, you know, calm hands like this. And then there's this. And this is the fist, right? And that's exactly what it's pointing out. Like, ruling with an iron fist type deal is what it's really coming out. And that's what I was saying. This thing's like, you get down there and you get to, like, there's very much like this kind of energy right here. This is a major arcana, so very much that ruling with an iron fist feel. This is either encouraging you to step into this energy, Leo, to rule with an iron fist a bit, or if you're feeling like you're being ruled by an iron fist, then it hasn't made itself quite clear yet, kind of, but like there's some energy in here. Holy cow, like what a message that just came through so quickly in my... So I'm about like these energies right here are all about that psychic, like magic, clairvoyance, like receiving the signals. And wands can sometimes be that energy. So this almost feel, wow, nice. It's almost felt like, this almost felt like a commander, kind of like in the higher realms that was like talking to the snake, which can represent Kundalini energy and spiritual awakenings and things like that. And the snake can actually be healing medicine. That's why we see it on the sign for ambulances, right? There's a lot of medical and medicinal powers attributed to the snake. So where this was coming, man, this card like totally flipped in this reading to something completely different from what I usually pick up on this card. It's almost like there's a commander in the higher realms commanding this healing to get down there, and it's like coming down to your realm. Why? And this is where this is ruling with an iron fist, and it's even flipping a little bit here again and saying like the emperor is sometimes a father figure, very much about fatherly blessings when it's in the upright. Lots of gold too. That's what I mean. It's like daddies always look out for their little girls and usually their little boys too, right? A good father, a good ruler will rule with an iron fist, but at the same time can be very warm and giving. And so there's some of that too. And it's like this healing's like, you hurry up and get down there, healing. But at the same time, when this card flipped over, what it was really showing me was this person right here that is bowing down to this Hierophant. Now the Hierophant is a real person. on this earth plane, is what it's telling me. But this can very much be like a preacher or a pastor, someone of a religious faith or a spiritual leader, or even a counselor, a therapist, someone who kind of steps between the realm of just the real world and some more spiritual, soulful things, higher knowledge of that type. Whereas the emperor is ruling on the earth plane, like the emperor like does the earth stuff, and they look very similar, right? But they can feel very different. And that is where it was showing you that this person chose to bow down in front of the Hierophant, not this emperor. And the reason why is because this person knows that the Hierophant actually has more of a true claim to rulership than this one. Because this one is ruling with an iron fist and is only focused on real world things. And is not connected to the higher realms like this Hierophant. And this Hierophant here has the lotus flowers. So there's again that enlightenment, that encouragement, that wise wisdom and sage advice. They're still ruling. They've got the rod and they've got the staff and they've got the shepherd's crook. Like, that's the whole thing. They're the shepherd. They're going to shepherd you places. They've got the rod. They will still discipline you. And they've got the staff. They will lead you. Whereas the emperor over here is working with a little bit less. And it's just like there's some recognition here of like what you should truly recognize as what is better for you. It's not saying that like if these are two people, it's not necessarily saying like there's anything wrong with this. It's just like maybe there's just more of a connection here to this Hierophant than there is this emperor. And it just has to do with the fact that this Hierophant is bringing more than just earthly blessings and goods to the table. It's bringing spiritual blessings and enlightenment and knowledge and joy of that sort. It just feels like there's more support here from the Hierophant today than this Emperor card. And that's the whole thing. It just feels like there's more support coming from this Hierophant. And so that's where this commander up above is like healing you get down there, because maybe you thought that you had to succumb to this emperor because it's ruling with an iron fist. And that it like that's what I'm saying. There's a little bit of heavy energy related to this, but it's not like in the reverse, right? It's just like really pointing out that fist to me today, and it's saying like this person's ruling with an iron fist, whereas this person is like, it just feels much more open. When I flipped it over, it was like, what do you mean? Like, like that's. So, I mean, there's some energy over here. And it's literally like this emperor. You see this big ass eye? It's like this emperor's keeping an eye on you over here. Sometimes this bird feels like the bird that's doing the interrogating, like it's pecking at her. So for some of you guys, there might be someone else that's almost like a little messenger between these two parties. That's like the person that's nagging, actually doing the nagging, even though this is the person in control of it. And then for some of you guys, this felt more like your spirit animal kind of perch. Like, look, there's a bird over here, right? So, I mean, this almost felt more like your spirit animal, like perching and watching over you and like witnessing this reaction, right? And like paying attention to things like a hawk, like a bird that is seeing everything. And that's what it just kind of brought up, was like, okay, woo, okay, it was saying how I said at the beginning, like there was like this animorph spirit in here, how things were kind of mutating and changing, and that's what it was just saying, like almost like this healing, this snake spirit came down and transformed into this bird now. So that's what it's saying. Like, your spirit animals can change a lot, Leo. Like, it can evolve from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. You might have some staple spirit animals that stick to you because they are just kind of the animals that you naturally gravitate to, radiate with, resonate with. But then there's other things, and that's where it's just talking about spirit in general. Like, spirit changes form and moves through different things, and like, no matter what, it is always paying attention to you. You might not always see it for what it is, but it's basically saying how God takes the form of everything, and God is always watching, and God pays attention to this interaction here, because it literally feels like this emperor is keeping this big old eye. Even though this is usually an eye of protection, it feels like this emperor is keeping an eye on this figure over here. And it feels like this person's like, oh shit, like, like, and it's almost like ruling with the iron fist. What were you doing? Right? And this person's like, I was just out for a walk, or I just went to the store, or I just did this, or I just did that, and And so that's where it's like, it's reminding me of something I passed yesterday, and it said, the post said, ancestors, forgive me for desiring a seat at a table that you would have flipped. Woo! Like, can I hear a message on that one? Like, yes. And look at this table, and that's what I mean. It's like, this is almost like your ancestors too, watching you. Because when I looked at that again, it was just like, girl, what are you doing? Like, it was like, why are you sitting at this table? And that's what it was just implying, that like, there are some things that you put up with that maybe your ancestors would have long flipped that table and been like, to hell with this, and like gotten over it. And that has very much to do with this gaze between these two cards right here. This emperor ruling with this iron fist looking over at this girl. And meanwhile, ancestors are watching this all go down like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you putting up with this? And that's why it's almost like they send the message back up to the higher realms, and it's like, dude, get our girl out of here, or get this person out of here, right? And it's like, get that healing down there. So here it comes. Meanwhile, kind of like underneath it all is this Hierophant, and this honestly like is coming through as a very beautiful spiritual energy card today, because it's like, amidst all of this, where do you retreat to for safety? To the Hierophant. So this can definitely be to church, to prayer, to a prayer group, to Bible study. If that's not the vibe, then it's a social group, a friend for sure, that is a teacher, higher knowledge, or just someone who's like your spiritual leader, your Reiki master, your therapist. Like, there is somebody that you have a bond with. Although I'm going to say, look at how much these figures mirror each other. So that's where I feel like with this being a man, this feels like a man. It's just how it's coming through. It's like you feel so much more safety with this Hierophant figure, and you feel so much more spiritually at peace than with this Emperor energy right here, because this is just ruling with an iron fist, and this one is like a breath. Like, you get to release that breath and relax and pray and breathe and just kind of like get to be yourself, is what it feels like. At least be yourself out of the gaze of this person and out of this kind of intense stress. And with these Two of Swords right here, it's usually that you're blocked, and that's where I say these two women are usually coming together. And look, with their hands like that, that was some prayer. So there's some praying coming together. There's also, I always say that these women are like, listen, like that, like that's what they're doing with their hands. They're like, okay, listen, let me tell you something, right? So it's like two women get together. It just said conspiring. It said like two women getting together to conspire of like how to get unblocked from this situation type deal. So there is some help, but it is a recognition also that, yeah, you might be mentally blocked on what to do about this right now. And so maybe you know, keep praying. Prayer is powerful, but also ask others to pray with you, because when you have more people praying with you and focusing on goals and intentions, it just amplifies the power, right? So the power of two is stronger than the power of one, is what it's saying. And that's where, especially if you feel alone, kind of in defense of this Emperor energy over here, come pray with this Hierophant. Come to that spiritual connection that serves you and helps you, but also like there's friends that you can talk to help you sort your mind out. And that's what I got for you, Leo. Let me know how that resonates for you. Please take care of yourself, and I will catch you guys on the next reading. Thank you.